El Capitan, Jesus Aguilar, the Latin guys, the offensive guys, they were trying to steer things in a certain way. There's certain rules, etc. And it's fair to say that Jazz, I think, treaded the line, maybe fell over the line at times, I would say. It then culminated with this podcast appearance this offseason, which was explosive by podcast form, considering Jazz still an active player, Miguel Rojas still an active player. Didn't name Miguel Rojas by name, but we know who he was talking about. And so to do that type of podcast, as an active player was, revolutionary in some ways, but dangerous in another. That then creates this narrative we see with the media where GMs are seemingly put off by the brashness of Jazz Chisholm Jr. Can he make it work in a big market, in a big boy clubhouse, on a team that's trying to win? Is that the right environment for Jazz Chisholm Jr.? Those are the questions that have been asked in recent days, weeks. And I think in reality, and I understand why those questions have been asked, because there has been some issues. There's been some clashes. There's been some culture issues. And Jazz has been around and in the center of that. I think some of it, it was probably verging on bullying from Miguel Rojas, Jesus Aguilar, etc. They were bullying Jazz. They were cutting up his shoes. They were wrecking his gear. Like, for Jazz Chisholm Jr., who's a very flashy guy, takes great pride in his appearance, has probably hundreds and thousands probably of sneakers and custom bits. Cutting up someone's stuff is going to be like a red rag to a bull. Like, that is going to create an atmosphere that is unsustainable. And the funny thing is, with all of this clubhouse stuff, you listen to the pod all you want, the clubhouse stuff, what it showed to me was actually the problem came down to Miguel Rojas and Jesus Aguilar were the problem. They were moved on quickly. Jazz Chisholm Jr. remained. And since those guys have gone, the clubhouse changed. What did we see? We saw the Marlins improve on the field. We've seen Jazz Chisholm Jr. grow as a person and in the clubhouse and with his production on the field. We've seen all of that. As soon as those guys were out, Jazz took the next step. He was the one willing to go to the team, go to Kim Ang at the time, Skip Schumacher, call it out. Guys, we're struggling at center field. There's no obvious solution. I'm willing to sacrifice myself for the team and go out there and learn a brand new position in spring training on the fly. That's the kind of guy that I want in my team, in my clubhouse. They're the kind of traits that I want, who puts the team first. That's what Jazz Chisholm has already proven to everyone. So all of this stuff in the last couple of weeks around brashness, uncertain about fitting into clubhouses, it's a load of baloney. Baloney.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.